Viper Auto Valet down at the detailing shop today. Got some jobs to do down here, but there was something I wanted to do as an unboxing video. And you can see the product, Bissell Spot Clean Pro, wet and dry machine. I've always used pneumatic George wet and dry machines. I have two, like I've said before, one at the detailing shop, one in the van. The one at the detailing shop stopped working, the sprayer stopped working, and I'd looked how much they are to buy new, and I just wanted to perhaps try something else. One of the things I've found with the George, not so much at the detailing shop, because I run also a Henry vacuum cleaner plus the George, and the George is always set up as a wet and dry machine, so quick and easy to use. Means I can offer a much better service by wet and drying, wet vacuuming, over mats, stains on seats, carpets, quickly and easily without having to set up, because it's already set up. In the van, a bit more difficult. I just carry the George. Good product, but it's not awkward, no. It's a faff. I don't know really, but switching from wet vac to dry vacuum can be a bit of a nuisance. And once it's set up as one, it's difficult to switch back to the other. You can dry vac once it's set up as a wet vac, but not something I'm really keen on. So it's always been a bit of a difficult one for me. I'm not really like that idea. And the trigger mechanism on the George is very big and cumbersome, and it can make it quite difficult to get into nooks and crannies, edges of seats. I quite often found that the inlet for the water on the trigger would quite often catch on bits of plastic. The interior of the vehicle would bend, and it was just awkward to use, I must say. And also the connections on the George were very awkward to use, the little push quick release connections. I used to keep them lubricated permanently with GT85 or whatever was to hand. Every time I used it before and after, so that if it was sat, you know, in the back of the van or here for a couple of weeks not being used, I knew that it was still lubricated with GT85, but they were still very awkward to push in, because there was no grip to the hose side of the water feed pipe, so it was actually very difficult to locate into the quick release. It wasn't as easy as I thought it should have been. But one of the units that I've had now for 3.5 years, it's no longer spraying out. I can hear the pump working, but I can't work out why it's not doing what it should do. I've changed over the hoses and all sorts of things, because obviously I've got two, so it was easy to do that. But you know what, I thought, no, I'm just going to buy a different machine. So I've looked at these. You know, they seem to really like them. Certainly in America, that's for sure. They're really popular in America. I believe it's an American company anyway, so that would probably answer part of that question. But I decided that they are £149, £150 compact, set up, you know, just for wet and drying. And I thought I'd use this in the van, and use a Henry in the van as well, and move the van around, make some changes in there so that this sat in there nicely and was convenient to get to and put away, and so on and so forth. So enough of that, let's open this box up and have a look. Out of plastic. Need that. Taking the box up. Let's have a look what we've got in here. So let's have a look. So we've got the instruction booklet, as you'd expect. Plenty to read through there in every language available. Got the two nozzles, obviously small one. I like that. That's a good size. Looking at that already. Let's take out the packaging. That's a really good size for interiors. That's gonna really get into some places. Yeah, that's gonna make it easier. And then, even if you want to, there's a slightly larger one, which I would say is for I think this is for interiors as well, so homes. So they're saying that's for carpets inside, but that is, mind you, it does say spot clean rather than the whole carpet. So, but that's also going to be useful on interiors, seats. So very handy to switch the two around and use whichever one suits the purpose at the time. Certainly while you're doing the job, be able to make the decision on which one works better. Oh, got some wet and dry pro stain and odour remover, so that's handy. I didn't know that was coming with it, so I'll be using my own product, but you know that's come with it, so I'll use that as well, see what that's like. Bit of packaging, and there's the unit, nice and small and compact. Put this off. Yeah, really nice. Oh, okay. Okay, so that unhooks. So nice and compact, nice and neat and tidy. My first thoughts are that the hose is probably going to be too short. It's a very short hose. I think the hose on the George is at least a 2 metre hose, if not 2.5, which means that on 95% of all jobs, except for probably commercial lorries, the unit can sit outside the vehicle and you're only taking in the hose. But this is different, you know, you can't find anything that's absolutely perfect. So we'll see how this goes, and there might even be, not that I've seen, haven't looked, but there might even be an extension for this hose as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, but that's a good setup, nice and neat and tidy. It's a very nice compact unit, looks really well made, feels sturdy. The other thing I've thought about is that on the George, the collection tank is 9 litres, and the tank for the product prior to use is 5 litres, and that's a lot of fluid, and you can go through that very quickly, and this one can't be any more than 2.5 litres, I wouldn't have thought. So that's a very small tank, but it just means that you probably have to, obviously you will have to fill up more often. So again, this was just to see how it would work, what it was like, and once I start using it, I'll have a better idea of whether this is the right tool for the job that I do, and I'm not going to know that till I start using it. So, but first initial thoughts and having a look at it and feel it, it looks really well made. It is nice and compact. It should definitely do the job, but like I said, the tank is kind of small, the hose is a bit short, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, first initial thoughts, nice long flex, that's a good thing. I don't know what length that is, that must be, I think actually it says in there, I think it's 6.5 metres, which is not a bad length at all. Yeah, looks like it could be a good product. We'll see. I'll perhaps do some videos of me using it on some interiors, and I'll give some feedback on what I actually think of the product, actual in use, rather than just here today unboxing it. So there we go, Viper Auto Valet. More videos to come.